Welcome back to Narrow Ground Entertainment. I'm Steve the Unimpressed. This is Steve Solo's 7 Days to Die, episode 6. In this episode, I am going to start working on my fortification for the 7th day horde, and I'm going to shortly here run back over to the trader and get my helmet back. And then I will stop talking about it. One thing I'm going to do before I set off for the trader, because I've just discovered I don't really have anything left in the way of food, I am going to, I'm going to add some more iron to the forge first. There is something you can make in the forge to use on the campfire so that you can cook some additional recipes, and that is a cooking grill. You can see up here in the right hand corner I have a cooking pot, and there are 2 additional equipment slots, one for a beaker and one for a grill. All I have right now is the pot, but beakers you usually find in loot, and cooking grills you can also find in loot, but an easier way is to make them yourself in the forge. So I'm going to see if I can get one of those started and get some food before I head over to the trader. Alright, there it is. Grab the meat out of the storage chest. Now we'll go ahead and add that to the campfire, and now I can make grilled meat, which is still not the best food. It's not as good as the bacon and eggs that I've been making already, but I'm out of eggs, so it will have to do. There, I'm starving and I need to find something to eat soon. Done. It's not going to get me much above starving for now, but now I will head off to the trader, and I will probably scrounge for more eggs on the way.
Well, look what the cat dragged in. You better have coin.
Oh, shut up.
That's right, do the math.
Alright, we've taken care of that errand. And I will probably come back over here tomorrow because the trader restocks on day 7 according to his little interaction menu there. And now I'm going to put that directly on my head, and using the F key on the keyboard you can turn the flashlight on and off. So now I will be able to see at night. I'm back at my base from the trader, and I found a lot of eggs on that trip. Enough that I'm probably going to be able to take care of my starvation problem, and enough that the limiting factor in how many bacon and eggs I can cook right now is actually the amount of meat I have and not the amount of eggs. So that's a nice change. While some of those are cooking, I'm going to start making flagstone blocks out of these cobblestones that I've been keeping. Flagstone blocks are what I'm going to build my structure out of. Just going to go ahead and start a few of those. With my character's stomach relatively full again, probably for the first time since the first day, it is difficult to keep yourself fed in the early game. I'm going to go ahead and start picking out a site for where I want to build this fortification. You don't want to build it right next to whatever is serving as your base, whether you took over a point of interest house to use as a base or not, whether you built something yourself like I did. You don't want the place where you spend the 7th day horde night to be right next to that. Zombies will be running at you all night, and they tend to do a number on your house. So you do not want to put it right next to that. There are better and worse sites, but I'm not really going to take a lot of time looking for something that's particularly advantageous. At least not for this one. Maybe I will do that later on in the series. But for now, what I want is just to not be right next to my house, so that during the onslaught, they won't be tearing through that. I'm actually going to go right down into this valley, I think. This should be as good a spot as any. I think somewhere right in here. This is the spot where I'm going to build my fort. One of the reasons I selected this spot, I'd said I wasn't going to look for an especially advantageous spot, but I happened across this. This is a relatively flat area, and it's lower in elevation than the land around it. That helps a little bit when you're trying to shoot at the zombies, because you want to, for this type of fortification, I'm going to be up off the ground. So what I'm going to build here is 4 flagstone pillars, which I'm going to reinforce a little bit. On top of that, you can put the wood frame blocks that I've been using in my base. But if you do not upgrade those into the wood planks that if you don't upgrade those into the wood planks that form my current base, you can still walk around on them, and you can shoot through them. So that is what I am planning to do for that. So I will be up in the air above the zombies that are trying to kill me, and shooting down at them. Well, if you build that structure on a slightly lower elevation than the land around it, zombies will be running at you over the elevated land, and you have a little bit easier time shooting at them as they're coming towards you. Assuming you can see them, which my helmet will help with. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to build a 3x3 pillar here to start. I'm going to upgrade the center block right away. I'm not going to upgrade the exteriors because I'm not sure. I am running out of the resources I need to make cobblestones, which is, when you upgrade these, that consumes quite a bit of that. So I'm going to reinforce the center column, and if I have to leave the rest as plain flagstone blocks, then the center at least will be already upgraded, so that when I have more resources later and I upgrade the exterior, then it's a uniform structure. So that's a start on the first pillar, and the additional pillars I'm going to build 5 spaces away. So I'm going to start that one right there. So there's our second pillar started. If you wanted to, or if you're running low on resources, you can. I have in the past survived at least the first 7th day horde, and possibly the second, with this structure, but only 2 pillars, not 4. So you can cut things a little bit short if you are short on resources, but I should be able to get all 4 pillars up before I need to fight that many zombies. The reason for putting these 5 spaces apart is 7 Days to Die does have a physics engine that keeps track of the amount of support a structure has, and if you try to build out too far, we may have discussed this in a previous video, but your structure will not remain standing, it will collapse if you build out too far and there's nothing supporting it. It's not like Minecraft where you can build something in midair and it just stays there. In 7 Days to Die, it will fall. Let me just quickly demonstrate that in case I haven't before, because it does work just with placing wood frame blocks. Once you get too many out, they just fall and break. Now, after my demonstration there of how wood frame blocks will fall if they're not supported, and other blocks do the same thing, some of you may have noticed that I was able to get that quite a bit further out than 5 blocks before it collapsed. So why would I build the towers only 5 blocks apart? Well, the answer to that is the gap in the middle. I'm not just going to lay wood frame blocks from tower to tower, I'm also going to fill in this space in the middle with wood frame blocks so that I just have a giant platform up there that I can run around on and shoot down at zombies. This helps because the zombies track you. So if I'm standing on one of these pillars and the zombies are beating on that pillar trying to get to me and I'm shooting down at them, and I decide that this pillar is getting a bit worn out and too much of it has broken and I don't want to risk the whole thing collapsing, I run to another pillar. Well, the zombies will, for the most part, stop attacking the first pillar and come try to attack the second pillar, trying to get at where I am. That isn't universally true because their AI isn't perfect. Some of them will keep beating on the first tower, but you can get the bulk of them to come to where you are and hopefully save your fortification. And if you're standing just in the middle of the 4 of them, they will still be attacking your towers. They try to break down whatever you're standing on, and they are... Either the AI is smart enough to figure out that bringing down those pillars will eventually provide access to you, or the AI is not smart enough for anything and just hits the nearest thing that it can wreck. One of those. I only finished 1 pillar, but I'm going to start making my way back to my base right now because it's getting towards nightfall. I will probably come back and finish these in episode 7, and after that I will stand here and face the zombie horde. But until then, this is a pretty good start. This should enable me certainly to get all 4 pillars up and the catwalk, or the wood frames laid between them tomorrow, and that'll be good enough. So I'm going to head towards the base. Now that it's getting dark and I'm back in my basement digging, you can see just how big a help the helmet light really is. I can actually see what I'm doing down here with it on, no matter where I look. I have removed my torch that I started with and put it back in the upper level. Yeah, it makes a huge difference just to have the light. So that is an item that if you can find it somewhere early on in the game, I certainly recommend picking that up immediately, even if it's somewhat costly and even if you goof up and have to buy it twice. Here's another way in which it's helpful. I can see where that zombie is that I could hear creeping around in the dark. If he comes close enough, I am going to go ahead and take care of him. The light itself, oddly, does not give you away to zombies. Their AI is not able to figure that out. It does make you easier to see, but it isn't an instant, oh, they spotted you because you have a light on. It makes it easier for them to notice you, but not instantaneous. So this one is not that bright because he can't figure out. He has no idea what that is. I'm going to go ahead and leave him alone for now and go back to digging. That's all for this episode. Next time I will finish the fortification over there and we will face our first 7th day horde. Hopefully that will go well. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like on it. That really helps out. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content, and if you want to help me accomplish the goal of making my living from my creative work, please share my channel with your friends. Goodbye and God bless.